Hi. So I'm Stephanie's, and today I wanted to do a video on how I travel and how I afford to travel, and some tips that I do have with traveling on a budget, because a lot of people ask how I afford to do that while being a full-time nursing student. It's not easy, but I make it work. Okay, so the first thing I do is I try to figure out around the time that I would like to travel. I'm really not too picky about how long I stay or where I would like to stay. I'm kind of like very open to what's going on. So um, I choose, like, I go on this app. It's a really cool app. It's called Skyscanner. And then I choose, like, say I want to travel in the month of June. So I'll choose June, and it'll show me literally every place I can go, from like the cheapest to the most expensive place in the month of June. So then I'm like, oh, like Mexico's on sale for like 200 bucks round trip for 4 days, and it has these dates. So you have to be very open to the days. You can't be like, I want to travel this day to this day. I mean, you can, but it's very limiting on the deals you can get. And it kind of makes it harder to get a cheap ticket, because if you're very specific, then those days are like maybe expensive, because it's probably the weekend that you want to go, like a Friday to Sunday or Thursday to Sunday. And sometimes they're more expensive, where it seems as though, like, if you leave on like a Saturday or Sunday and then come back on a Wednesday, it's cheaper. It just kind of fluctuates. So I use Skyscanner a lot. It lets me choose where I want to go. Like, if I want to travel in the United States, it still has United States options, and it also has overseas options, which I really like. Another thing that I do is that I normally travel by myself. I do have people that I ask, but I feel like no one really wants to go anywhere. So just if I know I have a friend in another city or something, I'll just go visit them, and that's a trip. And though that goes into like housing. So if you do know someone in another city, housing is covered because they're in that city. And if you don't have that option, I love Airbnb. It's literally like the perfect option instead of hotels, because you pay so much for hotels. I mean, yes, you get like the room service and all that, but sometimes Airbnb offers you breakfast or lunch, and they have cleaning services. It really just depends on what you're looking for. So I always choose an Airbnb. I'm normally nothing more than like $75 a night, because like at this point I might as well be in a hotel if I'm paying more than that. So I try to be like super cheap, and actually be flexible, because I normally stay in two places with my Airbnb, so I can leave one Airbnb and go to another in a different city or a different area in that state or country, and it lets me be flexible, so it's a little easier to travel. So I love Airbnb. Um, so really, all this is about is just like planning. I normally plan like maybe 4 to 5 months in advance of where I would like to go, or kind of have an idea. I'm really not picky on where I want to go. So when I had traveled to for spring break, I had went to Mexico, Tulum, and I kind of planned that out in like December or January. Actually, it was January. And what I do is I buy a one-way first, and I'm really not picky about my airlines. Like, I know people like Spirit and Frontier are like the worst. Okay, yeah, they're not the greatest, but like if my flight is 3 hours or less, I'm literally not going to complain. Like, I know I just need to get on and get off like safely. I really don't have any issues with those airlines. I've never had any delays. I don't even check a bag because I'm frugal, so I do a carry-on. It just is a lot easier. I mean, of course, I would love to be on Delta every single time, but if a flight is $29 on Frontier, I'm really not going to complain when it's $29. Like, you can't complain. And that's how you get to really save on your trip, because flights can cost you like $400 or $500. But if I'm flying a $29 or $69 flight on Frontier, I have more money to spend in that country or that area, and instead of just paying for a flight to get there. So that's really like the main way to save. Like, stop being picky on the type of airlines that you go to. Um, so I'll normally fly Frontier, or Southwest, which, the 2 bags fly free, which is nice. And then Delta is my favorite one. So once I figure out kind of like how to do that, then I decide if I'm inviting anybody or if anyone wants to go with me. And if they're in a different city, then we kind of like figure out the times and stuff that we'll meet up in that area. But yeah, so really look out for the deals for Frontier and Spirit. Join their emailing list so they can send you emails when they're having sales. And that's kind of like how I know, like, hey, I want to go somewhere. Oh, another option to use is Google Flights. So it's like google.com, and then I think it's like /flights. And that's literally like the same thing as Skyscanner. If you don't know where you want to go, you can just type in like your home airport, and then you can select everywhere or anywhere or something like that for the destination. And it literally does the same thing as Skyscanner. It lists all the places you can go from like the cheapest to the most expensive in the month or the time frame that you want to go. So even if you do have specific dates that you want to go and you do that everywhere, like your home city and then like everywhere, it'll let you know where you can go, the prices and all that in those dates. So it's still pretty like flexible. Okay, another thing is, I think that's it. I use Skyscanner. Hopper is another app that you can use. I don't really use it that often because I like Skyscanner the most, but Hopper is pretty cool too. It literally does the same thing. Another app that you should use when you're traveling is Global Convert. That lets you convert the currencies from that country to United States dollars or wherever you're from. That's really good because sometimes, like when you're overseas, they try to upsell you on certain items, and the currency exchange. So you're like, no, it's not $5, it's $2. But they know that we're not from there, so they'll try to sell you more. So it's really good to have that Globe Convert app. I'll put it in the link below. Also, Google Translate is like my best friend because a lot of countries I went to speak Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. I mean, I'm trying to learn, but I don't. So I type in everything that I'm trying to say, and I just hit translate, and I show them, or they can speak into it, and it speaks to them back. So it's a really awesome app to use. Like, that's the way I've been communicating this whole time. Yeah, those are the apps that I use. Oh, and as far as money, I guess I should have started off with that. So I am in nursing school full time, so it's really, really hard to work, like really, really hard. So what I do is I'm a nanny, and I also do like odd side jobs. So I'm a nanny most of the time, and then I'll do like DoorDash or like Postmates just to like get extra money during the time. Um, I also am open to other jobs like bartending, waitressing. Like I'm just open to whatever the opportunity is. I'm probably gonna like go for it and try it once to see, because I know that I like to travel, and like that's my priority. So I consider traveling like a bill. So if you pay like your phone bill, your rent and all that, I consider traveling as like a bill. So I'll put some money towards traveling. I don't know where I'm gonna go, but I know that that's important to me. So you just have to like budget yourself. So I know that if I want to go somewhere in like 4 months, I know that I won't eat out that much or hang out that much. I actually don't be doing those things anyway, because nursing school, you don't have the time. So I just know that I kind of just set like a priority, like, okay, I'd rather go here than to go spend $50 for a meal and some drinks. Like, that's just not a priority right now, because I know I'll be in another country in a few months, and that's where I'd rather spend my money at. So it's really about budgeting your money, and also like stop limiting yourself on thinking that you can't go anywhere because you right now are not financially able. Like, I'm a full-time nursing student and I make a way. So you have to like in your mind say it's possible. As long as you plan in advance, like if you know that you have a lot of responsibility, plan like 5 months in advance to know that this is where I want to go and this is what I'm going to work towards. So I would first just look up the area, look how much stuff is there, because sometimes the cost of living is much cheaper in other countries than it is in America, or sometimes different cities too. So if I know I want to go somewhere, I'll plan out, see how much stuff is, how much money I would need, how much my accommodations would be, and also just start with a one-way. So if you can't afford a round trip, which I normally don't get a round trip anyway, I get one way there and one way back a later date, maybe like 2 weeks later, because sometimes it's cheaper like that. And sometimes it's different airlines that are cheaper. So don't limit yourself on that. Oh, another airline that I really love that I flew when I went to Costa Rica was Interjet. They were really good. They had like a bag fly free. They had like drinks on there. They even had alcohol in there that was like complimentary. So I thought that was really cool. Um, really good leg room. Really a nice airline. I've never flew with them before. So you just never know what airline you could be on that you like. So you just have to be open to whatever. Like don't listen to what other people say about a certain airline because that will limit you to getting to your destination. Yeah, so just keep an open mind, be positive. Like it may seem like it's really hard to do, but start small. Like if you've never been out of your state, I would probably like go visit the state next to you. You could do a road trip or something, or just something to ease your way into getting into traveling. Because once you experience another culture or another way of living, it changes your life because you've experienced more than what you're used to. And that's what I love about traveling because I know that being in the same area all the time, it can get like boring. So I know that I want to learn more about other cultures. Like God made this earth. Why am I limited to this one area? That's not, I feel like he didn't design it like that. I feel like he wants you to explore and figure out how other people are living because it makes you very grateful for what you have. So I'm very grateful that I do have that experience and I really do enjoy it. So it's pretty much just budgeting, keeping a positive mindset, um, and don't think that you can't travel. Like if it's a road trip or something, that's traveling. That's doing something that you love that's out of the norm. Go to another city, go to another state. Texas is really big, so going to another state is like 2 hours. Well, that's Louisiana. But that's still something new. Like if you've never been to Louisiana, like that's an awesome experience to have. So I think if you want to just start small, go for it, or just go on Skyscanner or Google Flights and look at the cheapest place to go from your area. It could be like Atlanta. Like I know Atlanta is super cheap to go all the time from Houston. So go to Atlanta. Like it's maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hour flight. You stay there for the weekend in an Airbnb, probably downtown or something, and you get that experience. Flights normally are like 150 round trip, 200. It's really not that expensive. So I feel as though if you can not eat out for like a month, you can afford to fly somewhere. So I think that's all the tips that I have. If you have any other questions, let me know. You can write them down below. Thanks. Bye.